rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.
Hey, here we are up the Hudson River, a little bit north of New York City. We are just near Hyde Park. Hyde Park, New York, of course, famous for the Hyde Park residence of Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt and the entire Roosevelt family. Now, we're just a little bit further north of there. We're not really here to see Hyde Park. We're here to go on up to Hits in Saugerties, where the New York State Horse Council is holding their 50th anniversary celebration. So we want to welcome you to that. We kicked off Friday evening with a great reception at the hotel. And then we moved out to the grounds on all-day Saturday activities hosted by Hits. Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, we are in, say this correctly for me, Saugerties?
Saugerties.
Saugerties. I knew I wouldn't like New York, we're at Hits, but we're here. We're up the Hudson River, not too far north of Hyde Park, New York.
We're across the river, actually.
Right, across the river, but we're here for the 50th anniversary of the New York State Horse Council. We're here for the 50th anniversary of the New York State Horse Council. Tell us about this event.
So, New York State Horse Council is a non-for-profit volunteer organization. We're proud supporters of the equine industry of New York State. No matter what your discipline is, we encourage and promote the use of horses and their health and well-being and happiness in the future.
Well, and we said this the other night. I mean, there are a lot of horse councils, about 42 states, I believe. Don't hold me to that.
Okay.
Roughly 42 states out of the 50 have horse councils. And this is the oldest one. I don't think anybody is older than 50 years. I know some are in the upper 40s. Wisconsin, I believe, is about 46, 47 years old. But New York's the oldest, as far as I know. Unless somebody can prove me wrong by digging out the Guinness Book of World Records, right? But we're really thrilled to be here and support what Horse Council is about. I'm happy to be here as well. And
you know why?
We're going to show you a lot of what the festivities are as we go around. But you're the incoming president now.
Pretty exciting.
Are you ready for that?
I am ready for that. I've been involved with New York State Horse Council since 1998 and been, helping chapters create, helping chapters along. I've been Mid-Hudson Regional Director for I don't know how many years now. I've created a really good relationship with people with the organization, and I feel no matter where I am in New York State, I've got family to reach out to if there's any need, or if I know of somebody in need. We've got a great community.
You've got a great community, great organization, and the events here this weekend have been phenomenal. Right now, we're going to show you around at some of the things that have happened right here at this 50th celebration.
Thank you,
Shannon,
Wayne.
thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Watch this right here on Speaking of Horses. Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, standing right here in front of this beautiful sponsor backdrop. We have the three clinicians who performed today at this 50th anniversary for the New York State Horse Council. And in the middle first is Jenna Knutson. I'm from Wisconsin. I still want to say Knutson, but I'll say Knutson because that's how she pronounces it. And also we have Ramon Dominguez, a world champion jockey, and great horse trainer and friend, Mr. Sonny Gargiulo, right here. So we're going to start with Ramon. Ramon, tell us a little bit about being here at this event.
Well, it was such an honor to be here. The whole equestrian community is coming together, regardless of where we come from, for one important cause, which is to help our horses or our equines and learning from each other. So many great ideas were exchanged. I'm super excited because I feel like I learned so much today. And Yosa is like a big family. Every time that we come together, or anytime that we come together to just share our passion for the animals and see how we can improve and just raising awareness and collectively helping each other to do the best we can for the horses.
Right. Collectively working together to promote the horse, because the horse in turn does so much for us, right? Jenna, your thoughts?
Well, continuing on that note, so we want to help the horses, but coming from the Smart Equestrian, it was really such an honor to share about empowering riders. And like Ramon said, you know, all of us are from different disciplines, but what the Horse Council has done for all of us is bring us together as a community. It doesn't matter what discipline you're in, you're welcomed here, you're supported here, and you're empowered here. So what a great honor to celebrate 50 years of awesome leader servantship, and just an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Sonny.
How am I gonna go after that?
Well, I don't know, but I've been out to your place in Long Island, and I've told people that I'm going out to a trail ride facility and stable on near Islip. I'm on the Long Island Railroad riding out, and they're like, "You're what?" Okay. But there are tons of horses out on Long Island, as you and I have talked about before, doing a lot of other stuff. Not just race horses out there, but I mean, you've got, how many acres are adjacent to your place there?
4,000.
4,000 acres where you can ride, right in the middle of Long Island. So tell us your thoughts on this. It is, yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to thank my wife and my son for being here.
Okay, moving along.
I had a great time here. It's always nice to be in the company of people like this, because, like Ramon said, I've learned. I missed
Jenna's.
I miss Jenna's talk, but we're going to keep in contact. I like the concept. She explained it to me. It's amazing to have Ramon, be in the audience and asking me questions was an honor for me. I just enjoy this stuff. I enjoy coming to these kind of venues where I can get a little closer to the people. When you do those big things, you don't get that close to people. Over here, you get to support an organization. 50 years in celebration, very honored to be here, and I just enjoy it.
And it's fantastic. And thank all of you for taking a moment. And now what we're going to do is, in this show, we're going to show people a little bit of each of your presentations that you made this afternoon. We're at HITS. We're just up on the Hudson River, and we're having a ball. Thank you all. Ramon, Jenna, Sonny, thank you. Well, right now, let's listen to the presentation by Ramon Dominguez, World Championship Jockey.
Hearing the hooves of the horses hitting the ground, and I knew from that moment that I was going to pursue a career as a professional jockey. However, my parents, as time went by, I was only 13, as I said, and when they realized that I was pretty serious about my intentions of becoming a jockey, they were not too happy about that idea. They had other goals for me. They wanted me to become a doctor and to finish school. So it was a difficult time for me because that's what I wanted to do. So my dad found out that there was a show jumping school, something kind of like this, nearby where we live. And although it was a little bit of a stretch for them financially because there was no extra money in my house, but he did a sacrifice to try to enroll me there, and he asked me, would you be willing to go there? And I said, sure. And I saw that is maybe a way for me to still be connected to horses, which I love the horses. But so anyways, I went there and I did show jumping for a year, and it was a wonderful experience. However, one day I had to take a bus to go to my house after doing the show jumping, and I met a kid that was my age in the bus, and he realized that I was riding horses because I think that I had my helmet in my hand or maybe the whip. So he asked me if I was riding race horses, and I said, no, I'm riding show jumpers. So he said to me, oh, I'm actually learning how to ride race horses. So to me, that was like somebody who wants to play basketball and the kid saying, I'm Michael Jordan. So I, of course, asked him, where is that? And he told me it's not too far from here. There is a training center. So the following day, needless to say that the boss actually didn't stop in the show jumping school. He continued going to the training center. So I went there and I met some of the trainers and I expressed my desire to ride race horses, and they gave me an opportunity to get on a horse, and I guess I had some baseline knowledge on being on a horse, and they said continue to come. So my parents found out that I was going here and they were supportive actually. They said that's okay. So that started my profession as a jockey, and then from there this kid and I became good friends, and we finished the last 2 years of high school together, and we moved to what we call back home a bush track, like a track really out in the middle of nowhere. It was 6 hours from our house, so we went there and we slept in a floor like this, a dirt floor in a tack room, and just learning how to ride horses and riding a race here and there. And then I was given the opportunity to get a license at a big racetrack. So I was excited. I rode there for a year and had the opportunity now to come to the US, which was my ultimate goal. In 1996, I came to the US, and that was starting from zero again. I didn't know any English, and I had to adapt to the system here in the US, which I quickly fell in love with how things were pretty systematic and everything was pretty organized. And now, let me just, I went over something that was actually very, very, very important. Before I came to the US in Venezuela, I was given the opportunity to work with a guy who was a top agent. Like, the jockeys also have an agent that basically go and looks for the best horses that they can ride. So this guy, although I came out of a promotion with like 43 other young riders, and I didn't have much experience at all, he still saw something on me. He gave me a chance, and I was blown away by having the opportunity to work with this top agent. I didn't know exactly why he showed any interest in working with me. So time went by and I was just riding slow horses, but I didn't know that that was something that he intended to be that way, because he wanted me to get the right foundation and learn as much as I could about riding horses before he basically put me on horses with good opportunities. So one day he said to me, Ramon, this weekend, let's see what you got. You're going to be riding a favor for a top trainer, and this is your opportunity. I was so excited. I couldn't wait for the weekend to come to ride this race. And when I came into the paddock to see this horse, it was like, oh my gosh, I mean, beautiful, big, shiny horse. The trainer gave me instructions. I went out there and I just screwed the race up completely. So I went way too fast, opened up on the rest of the field, and my horse got tired, and I just got beat at the wire. It was awful. I remember coming from the race, and my family actually came to see me this day because they live far away from where the racetrack was, but in anticipation that I was going to win my first race, they went to see me. And when I went into the car, I just started crying and sobbing, and I said to them, gosh, my days as a jockey are over. I'm not going to be given an opportunity anymore. And there was a lot of silence in the car. And so the next day, I got up early, and this was the last thing that I felt like doing in the moment. But I knew that it was what I had to do in order to push through this difficult time. And I got up and I got dressed and I went to the racetrack. And out of all people, I went to see the trainer that I rode for the day before. And people were like, are you crazy? You want to see that guy? Heck no. So I went to see him, and he continued to put me on horses to exercise them for a while, actually for like a couple months. And it got to the point where I say, is this guy kind of paying back now, saying, well, you got to exercise a lot of my horses, but I'm not going to ride you? Well, guess what? He actually put me on 2 more horses to ride in the afternoon, and both horses won. I was super happy, but I learned that that wasn't really my biggest accomplishment, winning those races. The greatest thing that happened, and this is something that we all can take from this, is in that moment when I made a mistake, I had the opportunity to decide whether to get up the next morning and go to the track, or just to satisfy my mind and say, well, you know what, that was the end of it. I gave it a try. It didn't work out for me. But in that pivotal moment when I got up and I went and faced my fears by seeing the trainer, that allowed me to continue learning and continue progressing. But it also, learning from that mistake was so key that I adopted what I learned, trying to be patient in the races. And then fast forward 19 years, which was the duration of my career as a jockey, I was able to win altogether 5,038 races. So, yes, it is great. Now, I want to go back to when I first came here. Again, I didn't know any English and starting from zero. And in 2001, as it was mentioned before, that I led the nation by winning the most races. 3 years later, in 2004, I had the opportunity to ride my first Kentucky Derby, and that was just amazing. 2 years after that, in 2006, I actually was riding the Kentucky Derby again, and it's just the most amazing experience riding the Kentucky Derby, because the crowd is so loud. However, as a jockey, you are so focused that you cannot hear anything. It's just you and the horse, and that's it. Now, as you exit the paddock and you go onto the track and they play the old Kentucky home, you can have to cry, and every jockey, regardless if some of them have ridden 20 times, they all get tears in their eyes, because they are so many hours put into the profession to really get to that point. When we're watching on the TV, often even people who are involved in horse racing say, well, you know, he's lucky, he was given the opportunity. But I like to think more in terms of like Malcolm Gladwell said, 10,000 hours is the magic number of greatness. So any one of those guys have put their 10,000 hours to get to that moment. So again, in 2006, I was coming to the half a mile to go, and a horse made a quick move, and mine just jumped, and I said, I got goosebumps. I said, I'm gonna win the Kentucky Derby. Well, I'm following a horse, and this horse just continued opening up, and I had to settle for second. Despite that, I felt like it was a big accomplishment and kind of validation that all the hours and the sacrifices that I put to get to that point were no in vain. I will close with this, that a few months ago, actually in January, my mom came from Venezuela, and she brought, this is a copy, I took a photo because the paper is too valuable for me to be carrying around, but this is a note that I wrote to myself when I was in 10th grade in high school. So I'm going to quickly tell you then about my list that I wrote, and I had it on my priority order. So number one was to be given the opportunity to take the test to become a jockey. And in December was actually the month, and to pass the test. Number two, to become a good jockey, or a big jockey, that's were my words. Number three, to please also help my friends who were in that journey of becoming a jockey. I will fast forward to 3 or 4 that are not really relevant to this, but number 7, which is the last one, is to come to the US and be a champion. So
they are our family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking Post Water.
Equerry's premium equine supplements. With microencapsulated probiotics and digestive enzymes, our formulas holistically treat all of your horse's nutritional needs from the gut up. We have simplified the science of equine nutrition while providing highly effective and affordable products. In order to have your horse give their best, you should be giving them the best with Equerries.
And now let's catch up with a presentation during the 50th anniversary with Jenna Knudsen. Right here.
Community 16 years ago, and when my kids were, I had Katie in the backpack and Liam in the front pack, so any moms out there who remember those days, I wanted some horse time to myself, so I thought, what a great idea, I'll go be a photographer at HITS. So I got a job here, and I stood in the center of these rings 10 hours at a clip photographing horses. You learn a lot. It was an amazing experience, but sometimes things are not always what we think they're going to be. But that was my introduction to HITS, and I fell in love with this place. I mean, really, it's just to have this in our backyard. I know some of you traveled, but for all of us who are local, this is just so lucky for all of us. So I want to thank the Horse Council, 50 years of serving us. That's amazing. I'm new to the Horse Council, so this is truly an honor to be invited. But I went to one meeting, and the 4 women who are all here, who are sitting in front of me, when they were listing what they did for the Horse Council, I thought, wow, like this is servant leadership. This is really so much about what I want for our horse community. So now I'm here, and I'm just starting my Horse Council journey, and what a fun way to kick it off than to be a speaker. So I'm here today to just introduce the planner, but bigger than the planner is the mission, and that's what Ramon and I were talking about. And I've had this planner for 3 years. So my first year I launched the planner, it was just a planner, and I put it out into the world, and that was great. Second year I did the same thing. The third year I thought, we need something more. Like, what is missing in the equestrian world? And what I felt personally was missing was all of us coming together from all disciplines. I felt like everywhere I went, the Western people were clicking together and talking about their stuff, and the dressage people and these people and the natural horse, and I didn't know where I fit in, because I used to be a show jumper, and then I was this, and now I'm like a hunter piece mom, and I was the show mom, my daughter rode here. But why do we have to have a box? You know, why do you have to be, those are your people? So the mission is equestrians empowering equestrians, really bringing everyone together. And that's what I think the Horse Council does. Do you guys agree? Like, that's really the general feeling I get from all of you, is we're bringing it all together. So how the planner came to be, about 8 years ago, 50% of you will understand what I'm about to say. I got divorced. And in that divorce, 52%, in that divorce, I lost my horse farm. I basically lost everything. I had financial devastation. There's actually someone sitting here in the audience who saved my keister during that very hard time, because horse people do stick together. But what it forced me to do was look at, what am I doing with my life? Like, why? We all know we're responsible for where we are in life, but how can I create a life that I love? So I started working with a coach, which was out of my realm, which is so funny, because as equestrians, we get coaches. We want to ride better, we get a coach. We want to look better, we get a fitness coach. But in life, we're like, I don't know, I'll just keep making mistakes and I won't fix it. So I got a coach, and she started having me plan my days. She kept saying to me, Jenna, what do you want? What is important to you? Write it down, write it down. And I just want to point out, for Ramon in his speech, everything that came true, what did you do first all those years ago? You wrote it down. There is real magic in writing things down. I know we're a techno era, and when I do this speech for college kids, I see them all looking at their phones, and I'm like, no, you want to write in your planner. So anyway, all of that came to be that I started writing down what I wanted, and slowly I started changing my life. Instead of just sort of reacting into a day, I had written down, what did I want that day? What was my intention? What was important to me? So what this book is, and I put a few on the tables to look at, this is a way for equestrians. It's just for riders, I have to say. I did it exclusively. It's about our lifestyle, but it is not a to-do list. You know, one, the to-do list is never going to stop. We all know that. We just cross the date out and put the next day's date and put that on our car seat to forget. This book is about creating a vision for your life. You know, what are you a stand for? What are your values? What do you want to give back to the equestrian community? Imagine if every single rider had the thought in their mind, what can I give back to my equestrian community? How we could change riding for everyone? Then it's about goal setting.
And last but not least, let's catch up with Sonny Gargiulo and his horses America and Sis.
Let's see if I can get her to stay with my horse now. That's something I like to do. Come on, Sis, let's go. Sis, come on, hey. Come on, get up. Hey, come on, come on, pick it up. Good girl. Come on, girl, pick it up. Good. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Mama. Hey, we're going to turn here. Come on, Sis. Good girl. You waiting on me? Huh? You waiting on me? Good girl. Hey, pick it up. Pick it up. Move. Bring it in. Bring it in. Come on, get in here. Sis, get in here. Move. Back up. Come on. Get in. Come on, get in. Get in. Back. Go back. Good girl. Go ahead. Don't fight her. That's why she doesn't want to be next to you. Come on, sis, get in here. It's okay. Come on, get in here. Hey! She's like, I'm like, sis, get in here. Get in here. Come on. Come on, girl. Get in here. Get in here. Come on. Come on. Get in here. Bring it in. Come on. Get up here. Hurry up. Get. Oh. Over. Back. Come on, get back. Get back. 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 A little more. A little more. A little more back. Come on, get back. Okay, don't fight her. He's terrible, isn't he? Come on, girl. It's okay. Usually she's the sassy one. Okay. Just over. Over. Come on. Hey. Get over. Get over. Get over. Hey. Come on. Get over. She's like, I don't want to be anywhere near that guy. He's okay, sis. He's okay. What I do, sis? I'm gonna ask him to put him and then I'm gonna work with her a little bit. I'll show you guys a couple things I want to do with her. Let me get him down. Come on. Get down. Come on, buddy. Get down. Get down. Come on. Come on. Get down. Get down. Come on, go to sleep. Sleep. Good boy. Good boy. Stay. Don't you roll. Don't you roll. Don't you roll. Not with those new polos. Get over. Get over. Okay, stay. That's enough. No, one more time? Okay, stay.
You know how it is, Sonny, when you get them new clothes, they got to get them dirty immediately, right?
Stay. Stay. Good boy. Hey, go to sleep. Good boy.
Well, that's a bit of a look around at the New York State Horse Council's 50th anniversary party. It was a great time, had by all, hosted by Hits in Saugerties, New York. We had a fun Saturday evening with a band, a hootenanny band. There was also some really great food and eats before the hootenanny. We had a lot of wonderful speakers, we had presentations, we had awards for many of the Horse Council members, and there were a lot of drawings and door prizes. I was very pleased to be there with the three clinicians who are pictured here as we were interviewing, and I was pleased to be the MC for the 50th anniversary of the New York State Horse Council. King Barns, located in New Holland, Pennsylvania. If you want a great custom-built barn, you got to contact kingbarns.com. All kinds of customized barns, top-grade materials, and wonderful custom designed to meet your request. Please check out King Barnes today. Source Nutrition. One of the fine sponsors, Source Nutrition, micronutrients developed from the seaweed harvested off the coast of Maine, aids in digestion, helps with older horses, keeps everything moving fine in your horse's digestive tract. Check out Source